Shop Talk, baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real.
Hey, trying to bring it down for you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody feeling today? Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good.
I can barely hear you, honey bun.
What's going on?
What's going on?
All right, hold on.
Yeah, let's get it up. Let's get it up. Today's topic is scammers. So we're going to talk about the scammers. And as we talk about the scammers, this is more so about the real things. We're going to touch bases on the real things that's going on out there and how people are being scammed unbeknownstly to them. Okay, we'll start with me. You know, you have different people scamming elderly people. Now, you know, I go out there in the field and let's see how true this is. So I went out and I act as if I was becoming a renter. So I met somebody, and I'll tell you what her name was. Her name was Deborah Williams. Deborah Williams, born in 1955, I want to say it was. And I said, Deborah Williams, 1955, what's the chances of her scamming somebody? Right? You follow me, Nick?
Right.
So, it was a home that she had for rent and sounded really, really good. And it was on the site of, what site was it? Zillow, I believe it was, which is supposed to be a great site for apartments for rent, homes for rent. And so we were emailing back and forth. She emailed me because if you're interested in looking for a place to rent, you put your email address in. So let's fast forward a little bit. Here we are. She said, just go look at it and you can look through the windows. Well, of course, on the actual site, the rooms look large, the whole nine. So me and my partner, we decided to go check it out. Look through the windows. Well, you just don't want to go looking through any windows, even though it had a sign in front, because people will think you're trying to break in. But anyway, when we looked through the windows, the rooms were a lot smaller. When can I see this? If you send me $1,000, because I'm in California, I will send the keys. Now, desperate times calls for desperate measures. If I was an elderly person looking for a place to stay, I may have fell for that. So my question was, the realtor whose sign is in the front, they don't have a key? You know? Now, how many people would have sent off, and how many people did send off the $1,000 and just lost their money? So I reported it. The realtor said, yeah, that happens a lot. And that's it. Because here's the deal. The realtor had nothing to do with it, but it happens a lot. Then there's those that I had to tell my little person, being young, there's a lot of places that'll say, make an application And then they'll show you the place due to COVID. The application fee is $30, $50, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. How many people fill out the application, give them all your information because it says social security number on there, and you're giving, let's say, $50 each application. Why would I send you an application if I don't know if I want the place? So that's for my younger adult, not realizing that you just gave them all of your information and you've never seen it and they may not call you back. So if they're charging $50 per application and it's 100 people that applied, how much did they make? So you have to watch. There was another place that I looked at. This particular place, they didn't ask for an application fee. The problem that I had was it looked beautiful on, as far as like the pictures. So on the internet, it looked beautiful. And then you walk in and it looks nothing like the photos. So I say, this is supposed to be a luxury condo. She said, yeah, I said it looks nothing like the photo. So I showed her the photo on the internet that I saw. You know what the response was? I told my boss he has to stop doing that. He takes pictures off the internet and put them on the site. This lady said it out of her mouth. I said, that's false advertisement. But I went in and I looked anyway. And I went to the bathroom. The bathroom is just upstairs. I had to go to the bathroom sideways. I said, so is there like a weight requirement for my guests? Because if I had to go sideways, anybody that's coming to visit, good luck in using the restroom. So I told her, I said, thank you. And I left. So there was no shenanigans with that particular condo. However, it needed to be updated. And I told her, I said, for this price, you have Berber carpet. It has a run in it. Okay. Run like some stockings. Some pantyhose. Here's the problem. So if I were to rent that particular condo, I move out, this Berber carpet with the run in it, I don't get my deposit back because it looks as if I did it. And one run, you get more. So that was that one. But I thought that was really interesting that you snatch pictures off the internet, post them as yours, which is false advertisement, get people to come in, and then you're supposed to just accept it. Not doing it. Last one, yesterday, because I got time. Last one yesterday, I called and see what they do is like those like apartments.com and all those different ones that they have out there. They hijack it. So this was an apartment complex. Nice. It had townhouses, all that. On this particular one, it had, again, I believe it was Zulu. And it had 4-bedroom townhouse. I knew they didn't have any available because I spoke to the actual person. But what they do, they hijack it and they put their phone number. So a foreigner answers the phone. And they said, oh, yes, I have, blah, 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 blah. I know you don't have because I know the property manager. And they're telling me what they have. They want you to go ahead and fill out an application fee. And this was a 234 number and not the 759 number. So they tell me all this information. And then I called directly to the place. I knew you didn't have any available because you told me this the other day. Then I tell him, I said, there is no availability there. He was like, oh, we have da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, I just called the actual place. Then he changed his story and said, we don't have it available. But here's the issue. You're hijacking. I called the facility, the actual place. And I let them know what was happening. There's no way with the internet and the way that it goes, there's no way for them to stop it. And that's what she said. Problem is, you are spending a deposit. You are trusting these people. You look at them as reputable places. They're hijacking the phone numbers. And people are thinking they're talking to the actual place.
Mm-hmm.
So I would actually say, and this is if you're looking for an apartment, and people, like I said, desperate times call for desperate measures. You have so many people that are selling their homes. Then they're like, okay, now I got to find a place to stay, especially with the whole COVID. And there's people that's taking advantage of it. So what I would suggest is that you actually call the facility. Even though you're on that website, call the facility. Google the facility name. Call them directly. Don't give any money to anyone. You have to do extra legwork, unfortunately, because of this. And they're capitalizing off of the COVID-19. Now, Nick, I want you to share your stories because you, like me, we got time. We're like, oh, we want to play? Let's play. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the other day I happened to get an email, and it was like it was from PayPal, and I had to pull up because I had just got a PayPal statement a couple days before, so I had to pull it up to look how their email was, and I was like, okay. The other one was PayPal@gmail.com. That's where I knew it. That's how I knew that one was fake. And then they said something about they were canceling a transaction and wanted me to contact them for I think it was like $15,000 or something that they was going to take out of unless I called to cancel, they were going to take out of my account for a stock. I don't know how, because I've been doing, dabbling back and forth with stocks and stuff now lately. So I'm like, okay, I got time. Let me go ahead and play. So I called. The person, I could barely hear them because you could tell they were on a speakerphone. And I said, I could barely hear you. He was like, okay, hang up. I'm going to call you right back on your number. So he called me back from a different phone number. And I was like, so what is this about me calling to cancel some kind of stock? Yeah, if you don't want it, you cancel. Otherwise, the money is going to come out. And I'm like, okay. But how do you cancel something you never ordered? He said, but yes, ma'am, but you cancel it. You can cancel it with me. And I was like, but how do you cancel something? I was like, okay. So when did I supposedly buy this stock? When did I do, he's trying to answer questions. And he's like, are you in front of your computer right now? And I had told him, no, I'm not even at home. I said, I'm with family. Okay, well, I need you to, in order for you to be able to cancel, you have to be sitting in front of your computer. Sit in front of my computer for what? If you're going to cancel and I'm talking to you, you go ahead and cancel it. I was like, but I'm still trying to get you to answer how do you cancel something that you never even ordered? I'm not understanding. I said, especially for that type of money, because I've been buying stock, but I ain't paying that much money for no stock because I don't have it. So I was like, he went to go explain. And I said, let me tell you something. I'm going to stop you real quick before you keep going any further. I said, I got time to play today. So since you want to play, we're going to play. I was like, I know this is a scam. What do you mean you know this is a scam? Oh, so you think this is a scam? Yes, this is a scam. I was like, I don't know who you playing with. And I start cussing. I had to go outside away from my family, start cussing. I threatened the man. Listen, because he kept, well, if you think this scam, why would this be a scam? Why would I try to scam you? Because that's what y'all do. I was like, but let me tell you something. Like I said, I got time to play today. I said, can I tell you what and he going back and forth. I said, can I tell you what my husband do for a living? No, I was lying through my teeth, but he ain't know. I said, my husband is a bounty hunter. I was like, please don't make me find you. I said, because when I do, it's off with your head. That man was like, click.
So was he a foreigner? Did he sound like a foreigner?
Yes, he was. Everyone that's ever called me, emailed me, anything, when I go to call them, it's always a foreigner. I had one, me and him got into an argument right in front of my husband. My husband was like, why are you arguing with them? Just hang up the phone. He told me to suck his sausages because I told him I knew it was a scam. Oh, it's a scam. And he start F you, this and that, suck my, and I hung up. The fool called me back and started singing. How about, I want to kiss your lips. Stupid stuff like that.
Oh, so he was just playing on the phone.
Playing on it. Then he started playing on my phone. I've had from the same number. A chick called me and I'm like, listen, and I just called her out her name. This is a scam. I already argued with somebody. And she was like, click. It's like, and then if you try to turn it in, it's kind of hard because even calling the attorney general, they'll tell you it's hard because of the number. And by the time you go to call that number again, they've disconnected it and they're calling from a different number. So they have a router, some type of router that routes different, or either that, or if you get somebody that answers phone, because I used to have this all the time. I used to have people calling me like, hello, you just called me, and I know I ain't picked up my phone.
Right, they hijack different phone numbers.
And I'm like, sir, I have not talked to anyone today. And I had somebody argue me down. I was like, listen, I have not talked to anyone today. I haven't used my phone today. In fact, I've been at work all day, so I can't call anybody from work unless I'm on my break. So, and then I've even called, and it was an older lady answering. I was like, you call, somebody from there call. She was like, no, honey, this is my phone, unless it's one of my grandkids. And, but they're young and this and that. And I was like, okay, then, back before I was getting those calls for a while. And I was like, you know what? Somebody's playing and they're calling people from, and so it's like, we'll never be able to pinpoint where this actual person is. They're even hijacking people's Facebooks because somebody hijacked my auntie, and how they got a selfie of her, I don't know, but that's what we've been dealing with the last day or so. As we talked to her yesterday, and her son is upset. The other son was a friend, and he was like, I was trying to figure out who made a Facebook for her too. My brother, somebody hijacked his IG and made another account and stole his pictures. And, but everybody started figuring it was and they got a lot of my brother's, friends on there, but they started figuring it wasn't him because whoever this person was getting smart and said, so they all started contacting him, but we finally got that account shut down. So it's like scammers are everywhere.
They are. I'll tell you this. A friend of mine, he's a hacker, and he let me know what's going on. And I'm glad you weren't in front of your computer, because when you're in front of your computer and they're on the phone, they can hack your IT address?
Your IP address.
There you go, your IP address, and ruin your computer, get all your information out of the computer. So that's a good thing that you didn't do that. I will say with the lady, and I'm saying her name is Deborah Williams. They stole her identity, and she doesn't look like somebody that would just sit there and get you. You know what I mean? So you're going back and forth about this house that she had for rent. And it was $750, all utilities paid. So that sounds pretty good, right? Yeah. And we were communicating back and forth. Now, mind you, she was born in 1955. Her photo looks like a nice older lady. And what she did, we were communicating, and it sounded like I was dealing with a 55-year-old woman. Then finally I said, when they said about sending the $1,000, so like I said, I had time to play. What she asked me, I said, do you have a PayPal account? Because we know that PayPal will protect your money. Not PayPal, gmail@gmail.com. Right. PayPal will protect your money. She said, no. She said, I have Cash App and Zelle. That was ding, ding, ding. You're an elderly lady and you have Cash App. I said, okay, good. I have Cash App. I learned that from my daughter with the Cash App because she's in college. I'm like, what the heck is Cash App? But she got me hooked up on the Cash App, which that's an easy way to send it to the young people. Mm-hmm. She asked me, this is me and old Deborah Williams. So if you guys get in contact or somebody named Deborah Williams email you, don't go for the okie doke. She said, great. What's your cash tag? Now, maybe in my age, I'm like, what's a cash tag? So now we're talking younger communication. cash tag. What's my cash tag? And I'll request it. And I'm just assuming, okay, let me give you my cash tag. You requested, and I just go ahead and pay it. It comes directly out of that particular account. People, make sure when you have like your, if you have like a younger person or something, they like Get Cash app, don't connect it to your bank or your bank that you pay your bills and stuff out of. Connect it to a bank that you really don't, your junk bank, your internet bank. So you have exactly that amount in there so they can't get you. Guess what the response was?
What?
She forgot that she was born in 55. She's like, okay, cool. And I'm like, boy, did the jargon change, our dialogue change. So that's when I knew it was a younger person. And then I responded, I said, okay. And trying to report it, just like you said, Nick, trying to report it is really, really hard. Now, after I sat there and I told this person, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. Guess what I got yesterday?
What?
More communication with that same person. I said, come on. So to my elderly people that are looking to downsize, you might have younger people that are away at college, like, I'm not doing this. And then you're like, I don't need this big house. I'm going to downsize. Don't be in a rush. Don't go for the okie doke. Take your time. If you get one red flag, it's usually a parade to follow. Okay, so don't go for the okie doke. When somebody calls you on the phone, anybody can get your number. They can hijack your phone number. Just like you were sharing how it's like, you didn't call me. Yes, you did. It came from this number. They'll hijack your phone number and then call other people and they're calling you back. Just know that these people are computer savvy. Don't go for it. Here's the deal. If they call you, don't go for it. Make sure you're calling them. Stay in control of your finances. Stay in control of your business. If you call that individual, just like the Zillow who I actually called, it was hijacked. And they were foreigners. Not to say that people that aren't foreigners are out here scamming people, but most of the time they're foreigners. Listen, call it what you want. If I can't understand you, you ain't getting my money. Sorry. You want to go even with like Sprint. I remember calling Sprint, and that was my lesson. Sprint called me. I called them back, and I went to pay a bill. Now, it was legit. This was many years ago. I had a foreigner on the phone. You didn't speak clear English to me. I can't give you my money. Here, follow me. $400. Now, not to say that somebody else can make a mistake, because they can. But I'm going to need you to truly understand what I'm saying. At this particular time, they were like, oh, it's no, my bill is not no $400. I owe, it was like $196 or something. I was like $200. Hunty, the lovely person put in $2,000. Yes. Pulled it out. I had the hardest time getting it back in because she didn't understand. Ma'am, and I was like, I need to speak to a manager. Oh, you want to speak to a manager? Yeah, I want to speak to a manager. That I said $200 because the bill was $198. Now you hit another zero. Anybody can make that mistake. But see, you can't be making no mistakes on my finances. So by the time I got to a manager, I was on hold for like 25 minutes. But honey, I'm going to stay on hold for $2,000. Okay. They said, oh, it was an accident. And I finally said, I was like, I need to speak to an American. Because see, we need to clear this up. Oh, let me speak to an American. And that's why, and I'm going to say this, I'm okay with Trump saying, bring it back here. I understand you have your companies and you're trying to save money. But when you messing up my dime, I need you to understand clearly what I am saying. Let me speak to somebody English. So, somebody that speaks English fluently. You half stepping, that ain't fluently when it comes to an additional zero. It took me probably about 45 minutes to get my money right, but it only took you 45 seconds to press.
To make a mistake.
Yes, I got a problem with that. So that's why I'm like, let me go in. Do you have a payment? Well, we don't have any more payment centers. They're shutting down because they're trying to save money. You know, am I with the 45? No. Do I agree with some of it? Some of it I do. I got to be honest with you. Bring it back here. I bring the companies back here so that I can see. And like I said, I understand that you're trying to save because it's your company. But your company is blowing it for me. I need to walk into a building, the brick and mortar, to say, hey, this is what happened so that you could correct it at this time. I should not have to take 45 minutes to get this corrected when it's almost like a marriage. 30 minutes to get married, 3 years to get divorced. Come on.
And some of these cell phone companies will not refund your money.
And would they give you a credit? Don't they give you a credit?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. And I know that you've worked in telemarketing. What's going on with that?
Like with the cell phone company, yeah, a lot of these companies, they don't want to give you, I don't know why, they don't want to give you your money back, especially like the cell phones, they won't give you your money back. They want to issue you a credit. You made the mistake, I didn't. You really got to fight with them and prove your case to get them to refund you. But yeah, some of these companies, they don't like to deal they don't like to lose money. They rather credit you than give you that money back.
But why you crediting me? How do I know I'm going to still stay with you? Because I'm leaving. 2,000 versus 200? Give me my money back.
Give me my money back and let me go on about my business. But yeah, they'll do anything to try to keep your business. But yeah, sometimes certain mistakes that we just can't do. I know with when I was working with Apple, yeah, they're one of the ones we have to keep escalating the call, like, you know, from the technical advisor 1 to technical advisor 2. Now, the T2s, they're able to. We ain't supposed to say, you know, but anyway,
you don't work there no more, do you?
No.
So tell us what to do. Talk to us. Help the people.
The T2s are the ones that actually make they're the ones that actually make the decision that they can credit you your money if they feel it's warranted, or they can throw extra stuff at you. If they can't do it, then we have another, we have like customer relations that we could send you to. Well, they could send you to. I keep saying I don't work there anymore. But yeah, Apple, everybody knows Apple that's one of the companies that they are not playing about security.
Okay.
At all. They good. Now they're good with that, but some of the other stuff I'd be like, but their security, they don't play at all. If you listen, people, if you got an Apple account, please make sure you remember your passcode on your phone, and make sure you keep up to date on your phone. You know, make sure everything is up to date, because if it's not up to date, make sure you buy extra storage to back it up, or you got an extra SD card to back up your phone, because if not, and you forget your passcode, we can't help you. We can help you fix it, but your whole entire phone, everything is going to be erased. You're going to lose everything unless you have a backup. Make sure you remember your password to your account, because there's a passcode to get in your phone, but a password to your whole account, because we can't reset nothing like some of these other companies. Apple can't reset nothing. You actually have to, they'll walk you through going to the website to do it, and they're so strict. If you have anything set up by, like, you got to answer security questions, you better remember them security questions. We've had people argue with us like, I know what my birthday is. Well, obviously you put a wrong number in, or you put it a different way, or like you purposely, because some people don't, thinking that, I'm going to beat the system just in case somebody try to breach,
Okay,
and they'll lie about their birthday and forget. Because then you have to go through the expense of proving that device really, that you're really you, and it's just, they are not playing about that security at all. So yeah, but then the downside to that is with the security, we've had a couple people call in and say their children ran away. A friend, because I'm still friends with a bunch of people, and just last week or the week before, somebody's child got kidnapped, and they could not help them get the location. They could not,
because they couldn't remember.
That phone was in the child's name, and if the child is over the age of 13, we cannot speak to the parent. We have to speak to that 13-year-old child.
So that's just like college. Like, once they go into college, they won't even tell us anything. I had a problem with that because I feel like I'm paying this. I need to know the grades. But that's interesting. I had some lady good friend of mine, who switched over and got an Apple. She couldn't remember nothing. We went into the brick and mortar to get it. She ended up having to buy an entirely new phone in order to get things going. Yep.
And then when you got to start a whole new Apple ID, everything under your old Apple ID you just lost. Apple is very strict, but I have a problem with the fact that if somebody has Apple phone and they committed a crime, the Apple don't have to give any records to the police. They went to court about that and won. Like I said, this child was just kidnapped. And my friend, she was because, we still got our little inbox group, our group message and everything. And I was reading it, and she was crying uncontrollably because she could not help these parents. They didn't know any of the child's information, and they couldn't, even with them turning everything over to the police cannot, they can't subpoena Apple because Apple does not have to give anything. So therefore, if this child turns up dead, Apple's like, okay, I'm sorry, but yeah.
So the moral of the story is, if you have an underage minor, you need to let them know the ground rules first. They can't go in, because it's a lot of young teenagers that's like, no, I don't want nobody tracking me, tracing me. I was a different type of kid. I was the type that, we didn't have Apple. We had the Osama bin Laden cell phones, that was huge. You know what I'm saying? But I was more so, without that, we had the pagers. If I was going to be out late, I would tell my mom, this is where I'm going. This is the route that I'm taking. I'm on my way. If I don't get there in 15 minutes, come looking for me. Because my thing is, at least in my mind, if something were to happen, this is just me, I would be like, okay, I know she's going to come looking for me. So let me hold on to my last breath. Let me keep doing this because she's going to come looking for me at this time. Some of these young people feel like, no, and they're out here sneaking. It's not about sneaking. It's about safety. I don't care what you do. I hope you don't break the law, long as it don't affect me. I told both of mine, make good decisions. Whatever you do, long as it doesn't affect me. And what I mean by that is, when it affects me is when you have to come to me to help you out. When you know you made a bad decision. You know what I mean? And let's be real. When you make a decision and you think twice about it, it's usually a bad decision. Don't even do it if you have to reach out to, hey, I need some help. The iPhones, you have those young people. I got one. No, my one would be like, who cares? The other one, which bless her heart, hers is privacy, privacy, privacy. And I have to tell her, I don't care about that, but clearly if you want that much privacy, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
That's just me. Now, I do know somebody took their phone to the pawn shop and they found child pornography. Yes. So they took it to the pawn shop. They found child pornography in the phone and they arrested those people. Now, I don't know why you would take that to the pawn shop. Take your phone to the pawn shop because they're going to look through it. It's gonna tie you into it. I was that person like when what was that the R. Kelly. The R. Kelly sex tape. Remember when that first came out?
Child, yes.
Listen.
I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
And she looked like a little girl.
Yes.
Roogle, did you see the R. Kelly sex tape? You didn't? Okay. See, look at him. Bless your heart. So I seen they bring it to me, the R. Kelly sex tape. Me and my scary butt. I was like, oh my gosh. There's a here, I'm going to make you a copy. No, you're not going to make me no copy. Because I don't want that in my possession. Because once that's in my possession, now I am sitting there or owner of child pornography. Y'all ain't tying me up in that. No, I don't want no copy. I'm cool. And that was my first porn. That was my first porn I ever seen was the little R. Kelly one. And I wasn't looking at it as porn. I was just appalled.
Right.
And I looked at the little girl. I didn't know who the little girl was. But she looked like a little girl.
She did look like a little girl, but, ooh, Lord.
And her body was made up like she looked like a little girl. So there you go. And it was like one after the other. But to me, with that R. Kelly, you see this little girl. That was years ago. Why didn't you say anything then?
Then, exactly. That's just crazy.
Saying nothing is approval. You just passing out the tape because somebody wanted to say something, but you became an enabler. And becoming an enabler, he just kept going and kept going and kept going. So now they're having where they believe that pedophiles, it's an illness. Do you agree or disagree?
Yes, I actually do. They're sick in the head. So yeah, that's an illness. That's a mental breakdown of something.
So they wouldn't be charged the same as that. Go ahead.
Oh, listen, as far as I'm concerned, every pedophile should actually have to be castrated.
Well, I heard that. Nick the voice of the people, like...
Not even with a grown person. Every pedophile needs to be castrated because that is just... Yes, that is an illness. You need to talk to somebody about that. Get right with the Lord or something. Ask for forgiveness. But every pedophile, to me, needs to be castrated. That is nasty. What can a little child do for you? I don't understand. And the ones that are raping babies... Oh, ooh, child, listen. Oh, Lord. All I got to say is orange will be the new black for me because if anybody, and listen, they'll really have to worry about my brother, but if I get to anybody first about any of my nieces and nephews, Jesus, y'all will be visiting me behind bars because I'm going to jail for life. No possibility of parole because by the time I get done torturing whoever did something to my nieces or nephews, unspeakable. I would definitely have to be asking for forgiveness for that one because that's just nasty to me.
Okay, from a male's perspective, Roogle, do you think that that's an illness? Because they're trying to change the law regarding pedophilia. Do you look at that as an illness? Like Jared, let's talk Jared, the Subway guy.
It's to me, I think it's a difficult thing to answer just because I think there are some terrible acts like Nick just talked about. And then there's people like, I think you got to look at the spectrum of what happens. For example, are we talking about people where we know consent was not an issue? They never consented to any of this stuff. Yeah, that's horrible stuff. I don't know how much of that is actually tied to a person wanting to be engaged with that kind of person versus you see people who just do terrible acts to people, and I wouldn't want those people who just do terrible things to people to get off when there's no like underlining condition. Like I'll give you an example. And this is not a good example, but I'm just gonna tell you this. I was crossing this street yesterday. I crossed at the corner, and this guy, he actually revved up his car. Like he was increasing his speed to try to hit me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I thought about it.
Were you jaywalking?
No, I was crossing at a corner. But the corner I was at didn't have a light, but the light before, the guy was probably about 200 meters away from me. And then like I just hear like this engine just roaring, you know, and it's one of those highways one of those streets where it's 2 lanes of traffic and a turning lane. You know, so it's only 3 lanes of traffic, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, my leg is kind of bothering me. But anyway, this guy like tried to, in my opinion, he tried to hit me with his car.
Okay.
Right? So you have people who get hit by cars and stuff like that, and it's purely accidental, right? Somebody made mistakes, somebody wasn't paying attention or something like that. This guy clearly, in my opinion, had the intent to run me down. Right?
Okay. So
my thing is like, if you are intentionally doing something and you know, like there can't, like to me, I like when you talk about you hear the news on the television where like, I think locally it was this lady whose boyfriend raped her baby or something like that. They both went to jail. Something like happened not too long. Like those are things where it's just like you had the intent to do evil. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem like an underlining. Like the only underlining issue there is that you are just an evil person. You know, and I want to be careful about how we perceive mental illness and how people act versus like people who just use that sort of thing to get a lighter sentence. You know what I mean? Because it's some people that do some really bad things on purpose. You know?
So.
Not like it's involuntary, like they can't control it. They're just innately evil people.
Now you have an older child who, I know that, and I can actually say it because I was just totally shocked. Somebody I know very well was in school. And they were in, 11th grade? So they would, like, get them out of class so that they can get extra help. Remember, before they had the, like, campers out in the back? Now they just get extra help. So this child says, he's weird. I'm not going with him. He got Muppets. Who has Muppets in high school? Now, Muppets in high school, he thought it was weird. And he tells me about it. He was like, that's just a little weird. No, I'm not going with him. They found a year later, maybe not even a year later, he ends up being arrested for child pornography. This person was in school. Some people actually get their jobs, their occupation, their careers to be aligned with what they're obsessed with. And you wouldn't know. Now, the shocker was when it came on, it was like, look, that's the guy. That child was able to look and see, he's weird. I'm not going. So if you're 11th and 12th grader, and this child ended up saying to another older child who used to go with him, man, you all right? He was like, he ain't bothered me. You know what I'm saying? But what about the younger children that they were with?
That can't fight back because, some of these
and don't know who. Right. I mean, you got a Muppet. Why you talking to me with that Muppet? Talking about tutoring me. Don't tutor me with no Muppet. That's suspect. So thank God for the knowledge to know, like, this is weird. And why do you have Muppets? Because that's what this child said. Like, that's the guy. He's weird. Like, why do you have a Muppet? He got Muppets in his car. That's what this child said. And then it ended up coming out that he's a pedophile. So now you got to look at all of those children. Come on. And then you have...
My mouth was too smart in school. They wouldn't have been able to get away with that with me, because after I got through cussing them out, then I made sure I told my mom and my dad, and we'd have had to hold my dad down.
And if you notice, they choose theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like usually that loud child, sometimes, let's say, if the behavior changes. Because if you have a child that was just kind of like chill, and then all of a sudden they change and they're out, you need to understand why. You need to sit there and dig a little deeper. Then, that's their way of lashing out. Then you have that child that's like, I'm not doing this, the rebellious child. Well, a younger person, a pedophile is not going to look at that rebellious child, so to speak. If their behaviors change, then look at it. But that, like you, they know they can't get away with it with you. Versus that nice, quiet child that just falls in line and won't say anything. They may get away with it. I'll say, for an example, when they did, who was it, Tamar, on Iyanla Vanzant, she came on the show. A lot of her siblings had no idea she was molested. She ended up saying it. And they was, remember, she's loud and this and that, and why did she do this? She ended up coming out. And it was like, nobody looked at the bigger picture as to why did she act this way. They just sit there like, boom, 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 and then she ended up coming out, but she didn't want to come out. Because some people feel as though it's a sign of weakness. And in actuality, it's not, it's hurt. And it's like, why are they acting this way? Why are they doing this? And you just don't know folks' stories. You just don't know folks' story. But when I seen that guy, and I looked, and they were talking about, like with the Subway guy, Jared, they're trying to justify it as a mental illness. And I'm with Roogle. Why is that? I believe that was Roogle, or you, Nick. Why is that? Is it just a way so that you could do less time? Are we going to fix this issue? How do you protect the youth? Because honestly, and see that, there you go, castrate them. But now think about the people that came forward, and you're like, oh, yay, I came forward to prevent this from happening to somebody else. And now you tell me it's a mental illness. So why did I even come forward? Because I'm no longer protected. And you have like your school teachers, what else? Your pastors. I'm not saying all now, follow me. People who align themselves with their gratification. And it's like, well, I can go into this career, and guess what? I got the best of both worlds. How do you tell on the pastor? Like I had that young man on the show years ago. And it was during the time of the Penn State situation. And people were saying, well, you're old, like older. Why wouldn't you say anything? When I had that young man on the show, and he was confident, boom, 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 telling me everything. And we were sitting across from each other in the studio. And I asked him, I said, are you ready to face him? His reaction, he retreated. Some people look at him as like, oh, he's lying. No. His pedophile, his perpetrator still had control over him. And that's what I saw. And it gave me clarity on why those young men at Penn State did not tell. And I'm like, here's a young man that's like 21 years old. And the way that he clammed up, I was outdone. I was like, reading him. And I said, he's still not ready. But it gave me, like I said, clarity as to why those young men weren't ready. So on the outside, you could say, well, you could just boom, 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 boom. It's easier said than done when you're not the victim. But when that young man, he came forward and he said because I asked him, what is your reasoning for coming forth? I always ask people that, because if it's out of malice, I can't work with you. But if it's to help somebody else, because that's what this show was all about, and to prevent somebody else from going through hurt, I could work with you. And when he told me his purpose was, every time he sees his perpetrator, and he see younger boys, he said he doesn't want them to go through what he went through. And he was raised by a single parent. I'll wrap it up really fast. He was raised by a single parent. His mother looked for a male role model, so she went to the church. His grandmother was there. After the first time, he was adamant about not going with this pastor. They said he was full of the devil. His grandmother was like, you are going. Beat him. You will go. You are the devil. Why don't you want to go? Actually, I don't think she ever asked why doesn't he want to go. She just said, you are going, and felt that he didn't want to be involved with the church. When she called in, she apologized to him because he shared his story. She apologized to him. This was the grandmother, and she said, I had no idea, because he didn't tell, because he was an upstanding pastor in the area, and he didn't want to hurt his grandmother or his mother, but he just didn't want to go. And my suggestion to young parents, young single women who don't have that male role model, and you try to put them in that place, listen to your children. There is a reason. And I know you being an aunt, Nick, if yours say they don't want to go, they ain't going.
They ain't going.
I know that. They are not.
My sister-in-law, she said, oh, no, yeah. If there's something wrong or her kids say they don't want to go or something going on, she gonna ask why, and my baby ain't going nowhere.
Now, when you, Roogle, when you see certain things, that you may look at as like that grandmother, because you know how grandmothers are. That's the work of the devil. I'm putting you here and you need to do A, B, C, and D. You need to tell why. And in his case, I'm thinking that maybe he couldn't tell why because she had him. And in our mind, in our community, in our culture, we put them up here that they would never do wrong. So in cases as such, to me, listen to your little people. Listen to them. If they don't want to go, don't let them go, or figure out why.
Even in our culture, it's like when certain things happen in the house, and you finally find out years later, Uncle so and so molested. It's like some of the parents back then knew, but it was like, what goes on in this house stays in this house. No, that's how you got these kids acting out the way they are. Like you said, listen to these kids, find out what's going on, and do something about it. It ain't no what goes on in this house stays in this house, because it don't stay in the house, because eventually the person that was molested, either they're going to turn around and do the same thing to someone else, or they're going to act out in a different way. So it don't stay in the house. It spills out in the community. So you really have to, like, some parents are not playing that, but then some, like with the old folks, sometimes they did, know what was going on, and they want to keep control of it and keep it inside so nobody else knew. Maybe they were a prominent family or people looked up to them. Nah, forget all that. When it comes to something like that, you do something. Listen. Ain't no keeping it under wraps or in the house. No. Because I'm telling you, if mine ever say so-and-so touched me or did, and we tell them all the time, if somebody touch you and it don't feel right, don't let them. And we tell the kids, this right here is your area. This is your area. This back here is your area. If anybody touches it any type of way that makes you feel uncomfortable, you better say something to us. We teach them. We've been teaching since they was little. Say something, because I'm telling you, listen, y'all will be visiting me in jail for life if I ever find out anybody has inappropriately touched, inappropriately said anything to any one of my nieces and my nephew. I'm going to jail. Period, point blank. There could be 50 million laws. Listen. If your judge listening, the attorney, the police listening, I'm just letting y'all know now. My name is Nicole Keller Grace, and if anybody does anything to one of my kids, my niece and nephew, my babies, y'all might as well come get me now, because I'm telling you, I will be housed with y'all for life. That's just no. Mm-mm.
All right, we gonna move on to the hot topics. Now,
Hey.
I'm gonna let you handle the WAP. The WAP.
Alrighty then.
With Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. If you don't know who these women are, they are rappers. They're bringing it. They used to be strippers, so I think that's probably why they're just like okay with what they're doing. I'm still Little Kim is the queen, regardless. That's
Little
just my.
Kim, you got that right.
Now I don't know what she look like right now. She looking like Zsa Zsa Gabor, but Lil Kim.
They can't do. I'm sorry, they can't do it like Lil Kim, but yeah, WAP.
Roogle, did you see the video? WAP. They be trying to get me though. Miss Mel.
I did not watch the video. I kind of purposely like just did not, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a Cardi B fan or whatever. You know what I mean? The only time I kind of enjoyed her when she was on that hip hop talent show. No, not that. I wouldn't watch no shit like that. Come on now. Come on, man. Come on. My time is valuable.
He dogging us, Nick. He dogging us.
The one thing with her, T.I. and Chance the Rapper was on Netflix.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, she was all right on that, you know what I mean? But it was just like, I've never been a fan of her music. You know, I'll just put it out there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it ain't, but I did hear some of the concern about what was going on about the language, and I heard there was some conservative white man that was talking about, listen to these lyrics, and when he was saying the lyrics, it was so funny to me, you know what I mean? Because I heard a snippet of the song when they did it, but I thought, I ain't gonna lie though, it was catchy when they had that hook in there. That hook is, is some,
it's catchy.
It's catchy. I mean, because that was I'm trying to think where that came from. Was that in a movie, or was that another song?
I think
I don't know why I want to say School Days.
I can't remember, but my thing is this:
wasn't that School Days?
It might have been
when they was stepping. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I might be wrong, but I thought it was from a movie. But
my thing is, listen, for the conservatives and all these other adults, y'all know these young ladies they have no filter. The music has no filter. Why are you listening to it? Well, and then they want to complain and these are our role models. No, they're not. What role model? Listen, it might be some ghetto broad that might say that's a role model for them or their kids, but for most decent citizens, no, they're not role models, and those young ladies aren't trying to be role models. They're just trying to make their money. But why are you listening to it?
I think the thing is this: you always gonna have people who are out for censorship, right? And they call it family values,
like they did NWA.
Yeah, like it's always going to be some opposition to artistry, and sometimes is it necessary? In some occasions, maybe, you know what I mean. But I just think when not only hearing the parts I heard of this song, I was like, I don't think that song is as worse as, remember, My Neck, My Back. You remember that? Who was that lady who sung that song? Remember that? Kaya. That song was horrible.
Lil Kim, some of the stuff that she used to say. Come on.
Hey, so, when you think about it,
it's like people are making a big deal on that. And then I've seen on Facebook, and some guys having something to say. And just, oh, they're horrible and this and that. Oh, this is coming from the same man that been cheating on his wife for as long as y'all been married. Man, shut up and miss me with it. Go on about your business.
Yeah, I mean, not hearing the whole song, but just hearing parts of it, and that because I heard a news segment on it, right? And I was just kind of like, well, you know what? The thing is like, I remember back in the day, right? I told my mom, I was like, man, I need that Ice Cube America's Most Wanted tape. At the time, it was a cassette, right? So she wouldn't get it to me. I put it in my player, and playing it, and it was like that beginning opening scene, like, I forgot, like, you get some last words, yeah, F all y'all, and then click, I didn't even get through that first segment before she was there. She was like, hey, give me that. She took away the tape, and she ended up giving it to my older sister's boyfriend or whatever. But the part, I think the issue that some people have is that, like, you don't have like when you go on YouTube or you go and you look at a video or something like that, or you go on the internet, there's very little precaution that stops a person from being able to access stuff that they shouldn't probably access. So I think when you think about that, when you think about access just to material that is not age appropriate, we got some ways to go to ensure that our kids aren't really saturated with that much stuff that's not intended for their age. But when I see people driving around, they got little kids in the car, and they playing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Exactly. So they gonna play it around their kids, then that's how it's getting around. But listen, there's forever men been going around calling it in their songs, calling females bees and everything else, and ain't nobody really in a big old uproar. But now all of a sudden, these two women rapping about that, and it's a problem now.
You always gonna have. I mean, like this, I just think whenever you have Black women in authority that want to claim some part of themselves, if it's their womanhood, if it's their professions, if it's their sexual desires or something, everybody's always gonna come at them so much harder.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about all the stuff that Madonna has sung about. But the only time that she really came under criticism was when she had Leon play Jesus. Her video, you know what I mean?
Right.
You remember that? Like a prayer.
Was it Justify My Love? I used to love that.
No, it was like a prayer.
Oh, yeah, that one. But Justify My Love, that she said, that was a very sexual song.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think the difference. Yeah, I think the difference is that, like, they telling you, like, all this music, they telling you how they want it, where they gonna have it at, gonna give you the example of what it's gonna be. But how much different is it than NWA's? What was that song? Hotel. I know the hook was Hotel Motel Holiday Inn, but I can't remember what the name of the song was.
And the Sugar Hill Gang, they the first ones that came up to a Hotel Motel Holiday Inn. If your girl start acting up, then you take her friend.
Yeah, but I'm saying, NWA took it to another level. On that whole, what was that? 4-1, what was the name of that album? Was it Ends for Life or something? I don't remember what the name of the album was. But the purpose of what I'm saying is just that, like, every generation is going to take it that next step further if they can. I mean, I just think, like, we just have to be careful what we expose growing minds to. But as far as, like, what they were saying and what I heard,
they said nothing no different than a cousin of mine. A cousin of mine was a blues singer, and a lot of her stuff, you be like, ooh, but that's just my cousin Joanne. She, older woman, and some of the things that she sing about, a lot of it is very sexual, like a lot of the blues singers. They
hell yeah.
It's been an ongoing
Millie Jackson
music period.
I've been to a few Millie Jackson concerts.
Exactly. Millie Jackson was the queen.
She get raunchy.
Very.
With like a schwa over the
Mm-hmm.
why it's like raunchy, man. I'm telling you, man. But I mean, like it's been around for a while. I didn't really. I mean, from what I heard, I was like, man, when I heard the nose swipe of like a credit card line, I was just like, I thought it was clever and funny and all that kind of stuff. And I think sometimes that's how you got to take that stuff. You know, I don't know. Like I heard somebody make a comment was like, well, is this the right time to release that kind of song with everything that's going on, right? And I was just like, you know, if you talk about the black oppression issue, I mean, hell, there's never been a good time for anything to be released because it's always something. I mean, we talk about something.
And my thing is, you don't like that type of music, don't listen to it. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, like when Straight Outta Compton came out, it was some kind of thing that was going on at the time. I can't remember what was going on. I don't think it was Trayvon Martin. I don't know. It was something. It's always something. And they was like, oh, we don't know if this movie should come out right now because of this. I'm like, it don't matter. It's always going to be something that's negatively impacting the black community. And then you're going to try to hold up works because you think it's not the proper time. This whole thing has been a powder cake since you brought us over here. 16, 19, baby. You know what I mean? Come on.
And my thing is, with everything that is going on, why are you making that a big deal, a big issue about a song about two females are trying to get their money? So what? We have we got the election coming up. We still dealing with COVID. We still dealing with, you know, all these protests of the unjust killing of black people. Worry about that. Don't worry about two females singing about their body parts. So
I think the issue is that like it's just the same thing I noticed with like sports and movie stuff and all that kind of stuff. Like there's not enough new content from everybody to come out and just be like, oh well, that's what they do. So you're going to have this deep focus on anything that comes out new because there's not a lot of new stuff.
Now, you know? I will say if their background track is one that's been out. There's some holes in this house.
Yeah.
You see
them
pouring.
Figure out where that came from.
Who did it?
Yeah.
I can't remember who did it, but I'm gonna tell you something. The content is bad. The beat, let me tell you something. I'm all about women empowerment. You go to the club for some unknown reason, you'll be sitting there and that song come on. What is it? Gloria Estefan that said the rhythm is going to get you.
It sure is.
And let me tell you, that song come out. Watch your little kids. Y'all probably already know more than I do. As soon as that bass drop, boom, listen, this is me. I'm sitting there with my cranberry and orange juice. Urinary tract flowing. Look, urinary tract flowing. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there jamming, sipping on my stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's like,
it'll get you.
Yeah, shoulders moving. Then I like, there's some holes in his toes. You see them? Yeah. You start percolating. If you see them, point them out. Like, not ladylike. What'd you say?
I was like they used to call rock and roll the devil's music. You just sit there, you start to move, and they're like, hold on. What's really going on? But, you know.
The rhythm is gonna get you. I mean, I ain't like you start percolating. They probably don't know what percolating is, Nick. They like twerking,
right?
But the percolating was it that back then. It's time for the percolator. It's time for the
like when you could go to a graduation party or any event before, and you'll go there and you'll be like, somebody will play an album, and then you're like kind of just sitting there. You're like, what the hell is like? Did you hear the music and stuff? You're like, yeah. then you kind of like really listen to the words. You're like, what the hell is this person talking about? You know what I mean? Like what was the song that got me like that? What's that Bruno Mars song when he was talking about not 24 Karat, that one when he talked about
I like
Phil Pfeiffer and all them people he was talking about. I can't think of the name of the song right now.
That's how. Wait a minute. That's what I like. Is it that?
Yeah, that's what I was like. I like.
I don't know. No.
Oh, okay.
It was something like that. It was something like that. I can't remember. But I still listened to some of the words.
They tried to put a censor on Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Well, you know, some of his songs could have got a little raunchy.
Well, a lot of his stuff was too. They didn't like the fact that he was using like gospel rhythm,
and merging it together. Yeah,
but that song that he just made up just to fill in some more time for a show, and then made it a big record when they was moaning, and he was saying,
yeah.
Grabbing chicks by the wrist.
Grabbing chicks by the wrist?
Grabbing them by the wrist. Now, oh, no, not this one. Funny.
Crazy. And these little people be asking you, tell us, so what is WAP? I know worship and prayer. That's what we gonna do. Well, I'm gonna pray for y'all.
Is it an acronym for something?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it an acronym for?
Wet and pushy.
Oh,
nah, not wet and pushy. Well, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying. Go ahead, Nick.
The same word for your booty and the cat. That's what it means.
What did the
I'm
W
trying
mean?
to be nice because we
what
on
did the W mean?
Wet.
Oh, okay.
Wet ass. I'll just go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, got you. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm corny. I don't know.
Go ahead and say it, Nick. I can't say it. I'm trying. I tried to do the edited version.
She said she tried to
do the edited version, but it mean wet ass pussy.
I was okay. I got what you said when you worked it out before.
Okay.
Doing when we was doing like $25,000 pyramid. I got you. But I was kind of when I heard it, because I was like, well, isn't that like a derogatory statement, like a derogatory word for like they call Italians or something?
Yeah, that is.
Is it?
And that's
they weren't talking about no Italian.
They probably didn't talk about it. I mean, I don't know how you spell it or nothing like that, if it's different spelling or whatever. But I was just like, when I heard it, I was like, that was kind of off-putting, because I was like, the name of it's kind of like, right to me right now, the name of the song is more of an issue than with the content of the song. Granted, the content of the song does not reflect anything negative towards another race or religion or anything.
They just talking about
their little sexual parts.
And see, them being strippers, I think they okay. See, stuff like that, I be looking like, what would my grandparents say?
They ain't no different from some of these male rappers talking about their little member.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
And male rappers, a lot of times, a lot of these male rappers talk about their stuff all the time.
But you know what they do? Think about the male rappers. Let's go Too Short. They talking about, I took it on back.
Too Short, yeah.
I remember walking down St. Louis, and I heard it in the car. I was like, huh? But most of the male rappers are talking about females. So now these females is talking about themselves.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't really find a problem with the words. But when you talk about, like, it was an Ice Cube, and...
Don't listen. Look at me, Roogle. Come closer. Do not mix Ice Cube up with Ice T.
Yeah, but it was. I'm trying to think, because they used to both have some pretty, explicit lyrics. But it was Ice Cube and Short Dog. They had a song, right? And I had it on CD, but somehow I got my hands on the edited version. That's when they put a beep on everything. I couldn't even get through the song without it like beep beep. You know what I mean?
What'd you say? What they saying?
Oh, I can't think of the name of this song. I know the lyrics from it, but I cannot say them. But yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, Too Short. Yeah, he was really. So like there are just the female versions of Too Short, and don't nobody. And a lot of that's what I'm saying. A lot of these men on Facebook complaining about what they saying, calling them all kinds of names. But there's a female version of Too Short. Y'all was rocking the Too Short back in the day.
Think about like Too Short, AMG, Luke Skywalker,
Yeah, Uncle Luke,
Luke.
Uncle Luke,
NWA. Like everybody who used to say all that kind of stuff. Because remember, it was kind of like divided. You would have like the LLs and the heavy Ds, and making all those kind of like poppy kind of love raps and all that kind of stuff. And then you had these guys talking about, man, forget all that. We going, Then you had my man ODB. Baby, I like it raw. He was I enjoyed listening to that CD so much, man. I'm telling you, it was just so. I guess they would call it cutting edge. You know what I mean?
Let me say something to you. I used to dance back in the day. I ain't strip dance or nothing, but shout out to my cousin Sean. I'm in the room. We're chilling. It's a security guard. I was at Johnny Gill. It was somebody else. Anyway, I'm chilling. Bobby Brown, all of them. This dude was like, hey, come here. So I'm chilling. He was like, Luke wants you to dance for him. Right. Now, Nick, the whole, like, Pharaoh already know, because I met a lot of people dancing with Kid and Play and all of them, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, I said, oh, okay. My cousin Sean grabbed me. This is my older cousin. She was like, no. I had no idea who Luke was. And she knew I didn't know who Luke was. She was like, no, we were at the Ritz.
You've been bent over and everything else.
Listen, she grabbed me. We were in the Ritz-Carlton in Cleveland, Ohio. She was like, no. So thank God for her, because I had no idea. I was like, huh? So Cornelius like, yeah, Luke wants you to dance for him. He was like, you got the look. And blah, 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 blah. I had no idea who Uncle Luke was. And when she grabbed me, it was probably like a week later. And I seen the video. I said, oh.
She saved you.
Listen, I would have been like, after I seen it, I probably would have been like, heck no. And my young butt probably would have signed the contract. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I'm dancing.
It would have been the real smack it up, flip it, rub it down. BBD.
And we was down there with them. Man, shout out to Sean. You got to have somebody to sit there and look out for you, because I end up bringing them with me. You know what I mean? So my cousin and them, I was like, come on, let's go. I was like, look, we gonna kick it. We'll be up on the floor. And it's usually like the after party type thing. Had no idea who Uncle Luke was. And she knew who Uncle Luke was. And she grabbed me and was like, no. And then the next day when I seen it, I was like, what will my grandmother say? Look, back to that again.
Right.
So you got to know the rhythm. Actually, my mother always said that. She's like, the rhythm is going to get you. So you got to make sure what you doing.
Right.
And that walk, to each his own, like you said, Nick. They just saying it for themselves, and now it's an issue. Some of the guys that I actually talked to, they were like, I was embarrassed. They were embarrassed about the women talking about how they like it. Because guess what? It sounds like to me, I don't know, I'm not a guy, So it's okay for you to disrespect a woman, but for a woman to actually put it out there for herself, you got a problem.
What's like they had a problem with Little Kim.
Yeah, Roogle, what you got to say? We about to start your segment, Roogle, but what do you have to say about that?
I mean, again, I just kind of, I see people are definitely making this double standard, but I think they're probably making the song more appealing than what it actually is. I mean, like, okay, when I think about, I'm trying to think of the last mainstream kind of raunchy song that I heard, and I'm gonna date myself, was probably Little Kim and 50 Cent Magic Stick. You know what I mean?
That's my jam.
He had the Magic
Yes,
Stick.
it was.
You know what I mean? But like, like when you talked about that whole man dynamic thing and stuff like that, I mean, you know, women have been getting jabs in about guys thinking they killing it, and they be like, yeah, this is not what's up, you know. I mean, hell, hey, whenever you doing a job, a little instruction ain't bad.
I'm glad you said that.
If you need a little instruction, don't get offended. Just do the like left, right, left. I don't know. Like, don't get offended over a little instruction. You know what I mean? If she want it like that, and you with her, you better give it to her like that, I guess.
Because if not, she'll find somebody else that will.
Hey, and believe me, all those people who was offended would probably be like, "Oh, you can use my nose as after they say it, swipe your nose like a credit card," right? You know, I mean, a lot of these people is probably offended to be right under there, like, "Are you ready to make that purchase?"
Wait a minute, but how about Carol Baskin had the nerve to say something smart? Cardi B got her.
She checked her.
Is Carol Baskin like a Fox News person or something?
No, Carol Baskin is the one they made the little documentary about. Was it the lion?
Oh, the lion. Oh, the Tiger King. The lady who
Tiger King. Yeah.
No, we got people missing with you. Go ahead.
Yeah. What she got to say?
She had the nerve to say something about it, and Cardi B broke her down like a fraction.
Broke her down.
She said, "B, you killed your GD husband." How you gonna say something about a song when you killed your husband?
Go on.
Hey, allegedly feeding the lions, the tigers and bears. Oh,
right. Don't worry about my private parts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Y'all crazy.
Hey, I think. But
worry about
Carol Baskin.
Your husband too.
Yeah, I think Carol Baskin is trying to bask in some popularity. You know what I'm saying? Because if you'd have seen the way that lady was acting during that interview, it was almost like none of this stuff was about the animals. It was about the money that came from those animals. Period.
Okay.
You know?
How was she in the interview? I missed it.
She was trying to act like she was like this conservationist and like this, you know, this, like, I'm getting these lions and I'm getting these wild animals and putting them in a place. But she was doing the same thing. It wasn't like she had like a private sanctuary where she just had these animals. You know, she got tours and stuff and doing the same thing that Joe Exotic was doing. And then there was another dude in North Carolina who had a similar thing going on, and he had like I think a couple wives and all this other stuff. The documentary is really interesting just from the aspect of like, hey, there's so many things that you can do in America to make money. I'd have never thought, well, let me go get some tigers. You know what I mean? Let me go breed some panthers together and sell these exotic cats. Like, all this stuff is going on.
That's probably why they got for apartments weight size. Pets allowed, but they got to weigh under 30 pounds. Because you got a lot of people that's just trying to make money. And they're doing it. They are doing it. And I'm just surprised that so many people are buying into it. They buying into it all. We got to do something. What could we sell? We ain't trying to go to jail. That's the difference.
Exactly.
Well, as long as you don't sell no WAP, you'll be all right, right?
How about that?
Don't sell no WAP.
Hey, you good.
Then you good.
All right, Roogle, what's happening in the movie world?
Man, okay. I don't know if you've all had a chance to check it out, but I just watched yesterday, actually, on Netflix, the new Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie had dropped. It's called The Project Power. Have you guys heard anything about it? Watched it?
No, is that the Mike Tyson, Jamie Foxx type?
No. That hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
They're actually, I don't even think they even start filming that. I know he was getting in shape for his role. He's going to take on Mike Tyson. He's going to take on the role of Mike Tyson. And I guess they're going to do some de-aging or something like that on him, or some change his face a little bit, whatever they're going to do. He was talking about, he said it's going to be pretty remarkable. But anyway, he has this movie dropped on Netflix yesterday. It's called Project Power. The movie is surrounded around a organization that wants to, or that has developed a drug that gives people 5 minutes of superpowers. If you are lucky enough for the transaction from the pill to actually give you a superpower versus blow your ass up.
Okay.
So you don't know what the superpower is that you're going to get, right? But what happens is the people, they come up and they say, hey, sell this stuff. You don't even got to buy it from us. You just sell it, get it out there. So the whole premise of the thing, which I thought was so, I don't really want to give away the story, but there was some definite connections to how, let me first of all say this. I thought the movie was very impactful for young black women, and then young women in general, but especially young black women. And I think it also was impressive how they brought up an element of history, and it pairs with what's going on in this movie. Have you ever heard of Henrietta Lacks?
No.
Henrietta Lacks was like back in like 1950s or something like that. I believe she had like ovarian cancer or something like that. So what happens is that the doctors cut it out of her or whatever, and she was basically, they had made thousands maybe of scientific improvements and advances off of this woman's tissue, right? And so what happened was that like they didn't have consent to do it. They just took that part. They did the surgery, but the work that they did later on with like analyzing what was going on, and they really making a lot of advances in fighting cancer and stuff like that based off of this woman. So much to the point where like her material, her tissues or whatever, were still around up until about a few years ago. Her family actually sued or whatever. But the premise of this is like this. When you think about that was what they brought up in the movie. But when you go back and you think about, what's his name? That Dr. Sims, I can't think of his first name right now, but he's coined as being a father of gynecology. And he did all those surgeries and stuff like that on black women, black slaves, and all that stuff. And they got a statue in New York about him. They should tear that shit down.
Right.
Let's just put it out there. Like, tear that shit down. Or put up...
Tear all the mother statues down, get him too.
Yeah, I thought they were talking about actually replacing it with something that would symbolize the slave women who were subject to that versus, having him be...
With no
honor.
Sedation, just did it.
But the point is, it was a real strong matter about how corporations and things like that will take advantage of you if you don't let them, and how do you empower yourself to use the talents that you have to be able to break through, whatever that breakthrough is. And so, I thought it was really impactful for young ladies, that aspect of it. It reminded me of the movie Bright with Will Smith, but it wasn't like Bright. I think it's better than Bright. I think it's better, actually, of all the stuff that Netflix has dropped this year, when I think about Extraction with Chris Helmsworth and the Old Guard with Charlize Theron. I think Theron, I think is how she pronounces it. I think this is the best thing that they dropped as far as like that kind of thing. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's getting a lot of views or not. I mean, I think some people are like, "Oh, I didn't know it was on there." You know what I mean? But it definitely was good to me. I thought it takes place in New Orleans, and it's a really good feel about how they talk about standing up for your city when no one else will. So it's some really good themes in the movie, and some good action. And you got Jamie Foxx doing a borderline training day. It's a couple training day moments in there. You like, oh, okay, but it's
saying that.
I recommend it. I give it a solid B.
Oh, a solid B. Okay.
Solid B.
So if you had the superpower, and clearly in that movie you don't know what your superpower would be.
Yeah.
So when you take the pill, I saw the advertisement.
Yes.
So when you take the pill, where would you be if you had the opportunity to take the pill?
What would I want to happen?
Yes.
Out of the powers that were displayed, the one power that seemed the coolest, and it's kind of creepy though. I don't know. It's always creepy when people talk about invisibility. But from the powers they showed us, there's one guy that's on fire. I'm just trying to go off the preview. There's one dude that's bulletproof or something like that, right? I mean, like with some of the stuff they give you, like they don't really give you a large. Like they said, some people could run fast. It was people that were outrunning cars and stuff like that, but they never actually showed that in the movie. But that was kind of cool. They had like this thing set up where it was like people calling into a radio show or the police scanner getting like calls from people like, "Hey, this is I seen this guy pick up a car over his head." You know, I just try to think about which one would be the most practical, and I don't know. I mean, maybe running fast. Maybe I don't know.
Okay. What about you, Nick?
I don't know. What type of power is it? Like a superpower?
It was almost like they were like X-Men.
Yes.
But
okay.
It was one dude on there that was kind of elastic. You know, I don't want to. You know, I don't know. Would I want to be able to stretch my body and stuff? Maybe.
Come on, comic guy. Both of y'all.
Huh?
I said, come on, comic guy. Both of y'all with the comic books.
Yeah, but
I probably would be bulletproof.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, but how many? I mean, you know, you're bulletproof. But how many times do you expect to get shot?
You never know.
See, y'all got me all into the. What y'all have me watching?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, so far, I've not gotten shot yet, right? So right. I don't know if I would want the ability to be able to, like, if I could choose something else, like, would I rather want to be able to fly or be impenetrable to bullets? Or being able to fly doesn't make you impenetrable, make you unable to get, damage from
because look how many innocent people have gotten killed being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or somebody doing a drive-by and it hit your house and people got. So I would want to be bulletproof because you never know.
I would want to run fast.
I don't know the elastic dude. That seemed like it might be pretty cool. I don't know.
All right, Mike Tyson or Roy Jones. It's coming up.
I sent you the footage of what I saw and what I saw Mike Tyson. How I saw Mike Tyson training. Okay. What I understand about the fight is there's supposed to be no ref. I mean, there's a ref, but no scorecards and no headgear. So it's supposed to be like a fight. Eight.
Not like it was when we was at the Cavelli Center.
Not like the Cavelli Center. This is
a waste of my money.
I just think that I want my tickets salsa dancing because I'm
Mike, just don't bite nobody ear off this time.
And they originally talked about they were trying to get Holyfield, but they just thought it would be kind of hokey because of that whole thing. But
Look
Yeah,
at you
I like Mike
salsa
Tyson.
dancing.
I think that if it's a for real,
You won your tickets from salsa dancing, so you was okay.
I was okay. I was a champion amongst champions.
I didn't win any. Wait, I probably grabbed some from the radio station. I don't even know if I probably didn't pay. But still, I felt like, I'm like, yeah, it's about to be a fight. Boom, boom. I went in there. I said, I don't want to see no spar match. I went out there to the concession stand as usual. Look, as usual, let me see what they got out here.
But I think the thing that made that so bad, it was the guy he was sparring with. And he was like, he had like a torn out retina and all this other, like, he wasn't in good health and stuff, like, you know.
Oh, that was bad.
It was basically, you can have a chance to see Mike Tyson in the ring. However, you will not be in the ring. You will not see a championship fight. You will just see him. You know, that's what it was, you know.
And it was packed, too.
It was. Wow. It was packed.
It was packed. What you got for us, Nick?
Lovecraft is also coming out. I don't know if y'all heard about that or not. Lovecraft County or Country. Basically, it's a show that's produced by Jordan Peele. I believe it premieres tomorrow night at 9 o'clock on HBO. I did hear
who still got cable with this whole COVID thing?
Huh?
Who still have cable? A lot of people got the Netflix because it's what, $12?
Well, I mean, you can have HBO Max and stuff like that. I mean, there's different ways to get around things. With my streaming service, I got all the premium channels.
Oh, okay. So you got the hookup.
And all the pay-per-view, I can't even say it, pay-per-view channels. Got them too.
Yeah. So the movie, the series is set up, I think it's in the 1950s. And so it deals with a black family trying to go and get pieces of their legacy throughout the South or the country as a whole. And it deals with the racial tension at the time and everything like that. From the clips and things I saw from it, it looks pretty good. Courtney V. Vance is in it, and what's her name? Journey Smollett, which I did not even realize was Juicy Smollett's sister.
I knew her. I know you heard him. I knew her before I knew Juicy Smollett.
That's what I'm saying, because she was from East Bayou and all that other
Bayou,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, she a household name.
The show that the whole family came out with, it was a whole entire family. Where it was a brother, the older brother, their parents got killed in a car accident, so their older brother was raising all of them, and it was all the Smolletts. Because her and he got Jesse, they were the younger ones.
She was about to say it. That's what she was like, Jesse.
Exactly. I had to, because I was there to say Juicy. But yeah, I forgot what, I can't remember. All of Us, I think, was it called? I got to look it up again. But
you talking about the show on you talking about the show on NBC? This Is Us?
No. This was a long when all of them were.
Oh, you talking about back in the day?
That's
back in the day when they had, it was a whole bunch of, I remember that show.
Yeah.
It was only on.
I want to say Jussie was the baby then, or no, they got a younger brother that was the baby then. That played.
It was only on for like what, a season maybe?
Huh?
It was only on for like a season, wasn't it? On ABC?
Yeah, one season.
Was it on ABC? I think aired it. Mm-hmm. I remember that because they had those green stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I remember this shot of them on the stairs or something like that or whatever.
Well, that's good because we still trying to figure out what happened to the little sister on what was it called?
On Family Matters.
Family Matters, yeah.
Which I heard that they've been in talks to try to do a continuation.
Is she gonna come down the stairs?
Right.
Down the stairs, that would be funny.
You gotta start it off with her coming down the stairs.
In the first episode, they'd be like, she downstairs. But they were saying that, was it Jaleel White, right? That's Urkel.
Yes.
I guess he was, cause I heard an interview from the guy who played Eddie. I can't think of his real name. Darius.
Yeah, he's from the hometown. Youngstown,
and he
Ohio.
was just saying, like, he really was giving Jaleel White a lot of credit. He was like, man, this guy would come in there and play all these different characters and stuff like that, do all this different stuff. He was like, it's kind of hard. He was like, I don't know if he would want to do it if he wouldn't be able to bring that kind of
Urkel
power to it that he had before, I guess.
But you know what?
That was
That's what actually made the show was Urkel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had sister. You had what's his name? Roger, the neighbor that would just come in. I had an Urkel, Jonathan Stacy. I'm putting him out there. Listen, he used to, no lie, he used to just come kick in the door, and then guess what he told me recently? He was like, you used to babysit me. No, I didn't. Come to find out, he used to come over there and sit with us, because guess what? I was babysitting him and didn't even know.
Oh.
He would just come, kick it, and he's awesome now, but he was annoying. Look, I'm like, he was annoying. I seen him at a wedding, the wedding reception, and he told me that. He's like, you know who I am? I said, not at all. He was like, you used to babysit me. And then he told me who he was. I had to give him the biggest hug. Because the only thing that he would do, he would just come kicking it. Look, who don't knock on the door? It was the same situation. And it was like, huh? Right over my grandmother's house, and I would be there. Boom, he coming in. What y'all doing? It was the same thing. That's why I was like,
goodness.
I was like, oh, I had one. Look, this is for real. But I ain't go up the stairs and not come back down. What other movie we got kicking it on Netflix? Because I do watch Netflix.
Yeah, right now I'll tell you like this. What I've been watching. I've been watching that throwback Star Trek, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the actual cartoon, and then Korra, the Avatar or whatever, it was a sequel, The Legend of Korra. Actually, I was watching that earlier today. I really haven't been tuning into a lot of new stuff. It's a couple things I want to check out, but not, it's like right now, just kind of doing that kind of retro thing. Like, cause when I thought about it, I was like, when's the last time I really watched Star Trek, right? Like, really watched it. And I didn't say that I did, but I saw a lot of great things on the show. Granted, I will tell you this, they do their best for a show that's in the 1960s to be all-inclusive. Like, it's Asians, Mexican, Puerto Rican people, black people, all kinds of people, like, on the ship, in good roles. You know what I mean? Not like, but they are very misogynistic on the show, though. I will tell you that. Like, it wasn't a planet that Kirk didn't go to where he wasn't trying to find some wop.
Because he was always in it.
Always in it.
Looked like they could have been green with eyeballs in the middle of their head.
Hey, and he used to get pissed off if the starring lady was like Kirk or Spock or Dr. McCoy. You know what I mean? He would be like, he'd be kind of like, what you mean? I'm the, like, you don't want to get down with me. But it was, just watching the show, it was an episode on there where, it's weird. I want to do some research on it, but I always forget her name. Nichelle Nichols, her character, Aurora.
Oh yeah, when those two got it on one time.
Well, I seen that episode, right?
You heard that. You heard that, Roogle. What's happening in politics?
We have voter suppression from a federal level at this point in time. What's going on is that the president has appointed, I can't think of the gentleman's name, to be over the post office. And so this guy says, well, we are not going to prioritize mail-in ballots. And this is one thing that the president is trying to say will rig the election if there are people who do mail-in ballots. Now, given the fact that he resides in the state of Florida, he is allowed to do a mail-in ballot to vote, right? So it's like, so why is it so corrupt now that people want to make these voter rules in other places where other people will be able to have access to vote like you do? Why is it corrupt now? You know what I mean? And then why is this guy you appointed saying we're going to take away overtime from the post office? We're going to do this because it's not making money. And it's like, well, the post office is a service. It's not designed. Now, if you make a profit, then that's cool. But that wasn't the intent. The intent was to connect our country with with the only communication process possible at the time, which was a letter. You know what I mean? Like, was a paper communication, which still happens today. They deliver packages more than mail, from what I heard from the article I reviewed. But the point is, it's a viable service that we need in America, and not to mention that it also employs millions of people. And millions,
especially
of people,
veterans.
Veterans and people have ancillary jobs that come from processing mail and all that other stuff. The piece here is that they're trying to stop the ability. So they're like, okay, we really can't stop states from changing how they vote, right? They really can't do that on a federal level. The only thing that happens is that now these states are taking up how they want to go about and do it. And sometimes, unfortunately, it may follow with the respects of what the governing president wants versus what's good for the citizens. So even in Ohio, we have a fight right now about the mail-in ballots, and what the crux of the issue is who pays for the mail, who pays for the postage, and then is it off of the postmark date or the date that it actually arrives, right? So let's say, I think November 2nd is the date for election. I think it is. So let's say I mail in my stuff on the 25th of October. And let's say they cut overtime, they did all this other stuff, so my ballot isn't a priority. And it arrives after the second. Day. Does it count? Even though it was postmarked before then. So there's a lot of issues like that that's being worked out. The only thing I would tell people is this: when you have your chance to be able to vote, do not wait. Vote early. If you can vote early, vote early. If you can fill out that petition, fill it out. Do your damn census as well. If you haven't done that, please do it. Because that also impacts government too. Because if you have less people being represented in a certain area, then they take away they can potentially take away your seats in Congress and all that other stuff, for your representation. So you got to make sure that you're out here doing these things. Because I was having a conversation with somebody about this before, and I was like, I just don't understand in places where you got to wait 5 hours in line why you won't vote early. I would just go vote early, go vote on another day. And I think that's
who's that person? Who's that person that wait 5 hours?
Hey, it's been like that. Like I remember it was an issue in Cleveland in 16, I believe it was, or was it in 12? When it was, I think it was Barack Obama at 12. The time.
That would have been 12.
Yeah, it was like people got turned away, or they had to keep the things open until like 12 o'clock or whatever to get the votes done. Like we can't. It's too much is on the line right now for us to
be fooling around,
not having our ballots counted, our ballots counted. The other thing is that, as they call him, Sleepy old Joe Biden. I can't believe you call him Sleepy Joe. That is hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Anyway, Sleepy old Joe Biden picked the running mate.
Yes.
Y'all know he picked Kamala Harris.
How do you feel about that? Because they calling her Aunt Your Mama.
I feel like there was another lady whose name escapes me. And she was like she used to work in the government or whatever, but I think she was like Obama era. Person. And so I thought she would have been good. However, they want to look at who's going to compliment the ticket the most. And maybe she does. I will tell you like this, when it was first mentioned to me, I said, it's mighty strange that she straight out called the dude a racist. She, when they had the thing, and this lady, she said, well, you got to do what you got to do when you're trying to get elected, right? And I kind of feel that, but that's a hard word to walk back. You know what I mean? Not saying that they won't have my support, You know what I mean? That will happen. But the point I'm saying is that it's always been a little bit of not controversy around her in a way that would be like, oh, she did this terrible. Well, let me hold on that. The issue was when she was Attorney General and when she was like the district attorney for Oakland and stuff like that. That she was pretty harsh when it came to sentencing people and crimes and all that kind of stuff. And now she's walking that back. Now, my only defense for that is that, people that they talk about the Clintons with the 3 strikes you out and all that other stuff or whatever, right? Maybe bad policy at the time, considerably, people would consider it bad policy now. But at the time, I think you got to look at some of the things that were going on, and sometimes, I mean, you have people all the time that have been wrongly jailed or accused and all that kind of stuff. But then you had some people who did some really rotten shit that should have did some time. I just kind of feel like her track record hasn't really shown that like that she's been advocating for these practices to change until now. But sometimes it's like when you wake up, when you get your sleepy ass about the bed and wake up, and now you know what you want to do, and you see what the pulse of the community wants you to do. Maybe that's a good thing.
All right, what you think, Nick? You think she was a great pick?
I would say yeah, because he could have picked anybody else. I mean, it's a good pick because if he does win, that's another historical event for the Black community and for the women.
Yeah, usually the only question I had was usually when people are running for president, they pick somebody who can pull a state that they may not be able to get without them, right? And so her being from California, Joe Biden was going to win California anyway. You know what I mean? I don't want to, declare a victory in California for him, but I will say, come on, he's going to win California. Hopefully she energizes people to want to come out and vote for her. But I'll be honest with you, she didn't energize people to make them want to
vote for her for president.
As
a running mate.
So maybe they can see her in a different role because you remember when she did run for president, she dropped out before the Iowa caucus. You know what I mean?
I thought she dropped out because of the money.
She didn't raise enough money or something. That's what I thought it was too.
But the thing is, it was that one lady, Gabbard or whatever her name was. You know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about. Go ahead.
She was like the ex-military lady or whatever. She technically was still on the ticket to the end. I mean, still, trying to go to the what is it? To the Democratic Convention as a potential. You know what I mean? I think the thing is that your money could be one issue, but usually the money was tied to you having an opportunity to be on the stage. And she was always on the stage up until that point. I don't remember.
Listen, she ate Biden up. And I'm wondering, I ain't trying to be funny, maybe Biden might be asleep and she can actually battle Trump.
Yeah, but I think what you're gonna see though is she gonna get, when they had the vice president's debate, she gonna get in poor Pence's ass. I don't see how Pence is gonna be able to angle on her because she gonna just rip his ass to shreds. And that was another,
I said good.
Yeah, that was another thing that they were saying, how Trump, whenever he talks about a black woman politician, he always calls them nasty. You know what I mean? She was so nasty.
Angry black woman?
Yeah, when she was talking to Barr, she was so nasty. When she was
nasty all the time.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But that's the thing though. They always gonna he can't challenge her record. So he's going to challenge. It's the first thing they always do to us. It's like, okay, you don't like me, so what's the first to go to? well, I don't really like your tone. Your tone has changed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You ever think about my tone has changed because you coming at me with some BS?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that like we have to be emotionless. You know what I mean? Like,
and why is that? So we supposed to just take it on the chin and let you just browbeat us
because that's how they want it. It ain't like it's too a bit. The thing, they don't want you to rise up. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Want you to rise up. For real. So when I see, I guess she will do a good job. She'll help them get the job done, right? No, you know what I'm saying? But I wonder, whatever happens if they get elected, whatever happens over the next 4 years is going to be important, because if Joe Biden does win, will he run for another term?
Well, the fight. I won't say the fight. The argument is that he's so old.
Well, I think the thing. Well, it was like Reagan was old. I think he was like 84 when he was.
But if you think back, they keep going after his age.
Yeah, but they both old. They both old. Is one. They both around the same age. That ain't really the issue for me. Is if he doesn't run a second term, if he wins and he doesn't run a second term, is she going to be electable? Like, I hope that they don't do what they did with Hillary Clinton and just assume that this is going to be the person and not have it be competitive, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's how we got in this situation now. Is that all that stuff came out and they were trying to bury poor old Bernie Sanders, who I support. I like Bernie Sanders a lot, but whatever this sets the stage for, we got to know that there's a potential for her to succeed him as president. Not that anything bad happens to him, but during the next election, if she becomes the vice and he's not running again, she's going to have to show us that she can be the president.
Yeah,
during this time.
That's what we are going to have to do. Hey, Nick, give us some advice on being scammed.
Okay, advice on being scammed. If you get an email or a call about something that you didn't order and they trying to cancel it, or telling you being charged for something, or internet service that you don't have, or like Norton, virus, stuff like that. If you didn't order nothing, please don't fall for it. Don't give no information. If they're calling you, block the number, because on the cell phones now they have the block and report. You could hit the report. You don't answer the call. Hit report, and they'll ask you what it is. If it's a telemarketer, robocall, scam, fraud, all of that, because that's what I do on my phone. Of course, they're always going to call you from a different number, but the more you report these numbers, the better. Hopefully we can catch it. If you get an email, don't answer no questions. Don't give your information. Flag it and put it in spam. Just be overly cautious. Don't give no type of information. Please don't. Nothing. Not even an inkling of information.
Okay. Roogle.
Yes.
Advice on being scammed.
I would say the biggest thing for me would be you just got to be careful with your information. You know what I mean? Make sure you're vetting the source that you're talking to. Never, ever believe that the IRS is going to call you, because they never do that. You got to call them. Yeah, you know what I mean? Know that those services will never reach out to you like that. And if you get something, like, I'll be honest with you. So I got some calls where somebody asked me something about if I was on Medicaid or Medicare or whatever like that. And it seemed like they were trying to prompt me to say yes. You know what I mean? Like, why?
Yes.
And so, like, I ended up getting this call twice. And the second time I got it, I said, well, I already see this call. And if you're calling me, then if I was eligible for these things, you would know that, right? If you have my information to call me. I was like, but often when I get on the phone with you guys, if I don't answer the phone, y'all, if I don't say a certain response, you hang up on me. And then the phone hung up. You know what I mean? So never be afraid to ask that next question. I noticed over my journey recently, I've been interacting with a lot of people, and there's been like some like, well, you know, is this safe? Is this that or whatever? If a person isn't willing to break down to you, if they get frustrated with answering your questions, then it's probably somebody trying to set you up. You know what I mean? Like, and don't think that kind people won't do you wrong either. But just be really careful about who you share your information with. But whenever it's a scam of the heart, don't stop. If your heart is getting scammed, remember that love still lives on, and be open to receiving it in the future.
All righty. Most people that are targeted for scams are your elderly people and your young adults. Do not, and I'll say this, do not, especially if you're looking for a place to live, do not fill out your application prior to seeing the actual place. They do charge you, and I'm going to say they do charge you. So like I said before earlier in the show, so if you charge $20, $50 application fee, you have 100 applicants, they have your money, they have your social security number. Don't put it down for my young adults, especially my college students. See the place first, then move forward. Elderly people, Nick gave you some great advice. Roogle gave you some great advice. Don't ever say yes because they record the yes, and it seems as if that you agree to whatever it is that they're doing. So if you have a younger person, elderly people that can look and listen, you tell them, I'm not answering any questions. Let me talk to my child, to go from there. And just like what Roogle said and Nick said, don't answer the questions. Ask more questions. And if they get frustrated, just let them hang up. Now, me personally, I'll just answer the phone if I don't know the number. And I sit on the phone. If they hang up, bye. That's it. I'll just let the phone just sit. And if they hang up, I'll be like, okay, robocall or scammer. I'm not answering hello. Some people they don't answer hello anymore. They answer yes. And when you say yes, they recorded that call, and God knows what they're doing with your information. If you're looking for an apartment and there's phone numbers on there and you reach out, call the actual building. Call the actual establishment. Don't answer any questions. Go ahead, Nick. Something else you wanted to add?
There's two places, a realty company and a management company here in town, that you actually do have to fill out and pay. The one you don't have to pay for the application fee. The other one, I think you do have to pay application fee before they'll show you the house.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
But those two are, once you do that, they will show you the house.
That's a problem. I'm not going to agree with you with that. That's a problem. Because,
no, I'm just saying there's two companies around here, a realty company and a management company.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say to you, because there was somebody that did reach out and they told me that. And I told them, I said, thank you for your time, but I'm not comfortable giving you my personal information if I don't even know if I want it. So here again, I'm going to say this. I don't care if they're legitimate or not, but to me, that's not legitimate. So you get my application and my money. I don't know you from Adam, and then you're going to show me talking about because of the COVID. Bull crap. I'm not giving you my personal information. I'm not paying anything for you to sit there and potentially use my personal information for your benefit. So guess what? That's not a realty company, and that's not a management company that I will be working with. But I did tell that particular I don't know if it's the same one, when they told me that's what they're doing because of COVID. And I said, I respectfully decline to, and he said, what's wrong? I said, I am not going to give you my personal information, and I might not even like the place. So now you have my personal information. I'm not okay with that. So again, for anybody, that is not good business. And you should not want to be giving those people your business. If they don't trust you, Here's the thing. If you are the customer, you are the important one. So guess what? I don't trust you enough to give you my social security number. And if you don't trust me to show me the building or wherever it is that I'm trying to go, I'm not renting from you because that's a problem.
There was a house here that was or in the area that was for sale too. Really nice house. And I reached out to my realtor, and when she got back to me, the mortgage lender that I was going to be working with wanted me to fill out paper. I guess this was per the owner of the house, wanted people to fill out the mortgage papers first, like their pre-approval first before they let you see the house.
No.
So
if you don't trust me, I'm not renting from you. And I get that part. I get that part. You don't trust me. I don't trust you. I don't know you from Adam. So guess what? Here we are stagnant. No, thank you. If you're trying to rent the property, I'm sorry that you don't trust me.
House. I was like, who does that?
Nobody.
They wanted me to do the pre-approval. Now, I've done it for I've had the same thing with trying to look at a house for rent.
Probably.
When she called me back and was like, so-and-so, said per the owner, they would rather you fill out,
to pre-approval. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. So, pre-approval means run my credit. Right. That means my points decrease, and I didn't even go in to see if I even wanted. You're not getting ready to mess up my credit if I don't even want the place.
And so I was like, no, thank you. Just like with the rental ones, no, thank you. I'm good.
Good. And I'm going to tell my people, my listening audience, they don't trust you clearly because they want you to fill out the paperwork. Why would you trust them? You are the customer. They are trying to get rid of something. They're trying to gain a customer. They're trying to get paid. Why is it that you become I'm going to say victim? Or why is it that you become, so I'm selling something, I'm the merchant, but I don't trust the customer. Guess what? You can't benefit off of me. Sorry. So again, lovely people, thank you for tuning in. That is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. Until next week, people, shop talk. There you go. We doing it. Look, I'm like, we are doing it. Appreciate it.
One correction. The Jets were the ones that had that television show. It's called The Jets Original Family Band.
Okay.
The Smallettes.
The Smallettes, all right.